Hey, queens. Hi, kings. How are you? How are you? Hey, Scorpio mama. I see nothing but love your way. Let me tell you something, Scorp. Thank you so much for supporting the show. It means a lot to me when you come in here. It does. When I see you guys coming in here supporting the show, it means a lot. Okay, so I say thank you so much. Yes. Let me tell y'all something. My birthday the 27th. However, I need your support. I need you all to support the channel. $ CLAYLING. When you all cash at me, it goes right back into the channel. It keeps me connected to you guys. Okay, y'all already know what the deal is. Excuse me. This is a business, right? And then generally I'm not doing nothing but giving it back out to you guys. Put your cash app in here. You said, oh, okay. You said winter birthday. When my birthday? The 27th. It's this Thursday coming up. So yeah, put your cash app, your channel link, because we want to subscribe to each other. You never know who's going to be a blessing. Joshua was a recipient of our last blessing. Somebody came in here and blessed him. So put it in there. This channel is about blessing, okay? Being a blessing to each other. So yeah, support. We're gonna dive into this story. Man, I don't know what's going on with Michigan. I don't know what's going on in Detroit. I don't know what's going on with parenting these days. I don't know what's going on with parenting these days. I don't know what has happened to this generation, my generation, and the two generations before me. I don't know what's going on with the parenting. I don't know, but you can, let me slow down because I want to be thorough tonight. Um, eventually, maybe 20 years down the line, they are going to do a case study on this time in this era. I believe in working for Cash App, fam. I believe in working for Cash. I know that's right. Listen, I'm trying my best to work hard. I'll be bringing y'all new content. This show wasn't even planned. But because I wasn't feeling well this morning, I couldn't do my exercise. Get Fit Saturday. However, I've been blowing my shorts up for you all. All day long, bringing y'all some interesting things to go look at on my channel all day long. I've been working. Ain't nothing in this world free. You better tell them that. Ain't nothing in this world free. Now I believe in being a blessing, so it ain't nothing for me to do something for somebody and do that. And I do it all the time, and I ain't doing nothing looking for nothing. However, I'm not too proud to say, hey, support the channel. Okay. Generally I'm giving it back out to somebody anyway. But I digress. I want to say in the next 20 or 30 years, they're going to do a case study of what happened to the last 4 or 5 generations on this earth. Hey, Brandy 42 Lounge, how you doing? I say nothing but love your way, because guess what? You deserve it. I see that ring on your finger, boo. Did something happen? Did something great happen? Awesome sauce. If it did, congratulations. Listen, the parenting in these last couple of generations is slowly going down the toilet. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's slowly going into the trash. Do you understand what I'm saying? Women, young women, older women, whenever. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, some women, not all of us are out here behaving like that, but some reason we are putting other things before our children. And I'm trying to figure out why. You know what I'm saying? The first thing is you messed around and got pregnant. Let's start there before we get into the story. Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah. I just got. I'm still newlywed, and I can't wait to get over there to him. You understand what I'm saying? Because things is heating up and stuff is popping and things is I got to go get them. You understand what I'm saying? It's time for me to go back. I wish these planes would stop falling out the sky because it's time for me to go back. Okay. Listen. For some reason, our young girls, our 20-year-olds, our 30-year-olds, however old, in these last couple of generations, are putting the love of a man, the love of themselves, the love of freedom, before their children. Now, some of these children didn't ask to be here. Some of these children, most of the children wasn't planned to be here. However, you had a hot girl summer and you got pregnant. Now you got these kids. Now you trying to adapt and you're trying to acclimate to parenthood. Now, parents don't always get it right. But for some reason, these last couple of generations, you've been hearing some really crazy stories involving children and abandonment and SA and abuse. I'm like, what is going on? And I see it every day on my job. I'm a teacher. You understand what I'm saying? It's sad. I'm saying, not only do we have to be their teacher, but we almost feel obligated to be their parents, because the parent, they don't want to parent anymore. But you want to have sex. I don't understand that. Do you understand what I'm saying? You said I ain't mad at y'all. I'm free. I've done it 2 times. I'm Gucci. Hey, Scope. I said if it don't work out, Jesus, I'm going to have to retire. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, all these things that these younger mothers are doing, I could never. Now, I'm old school. I'm a 76 baby. You understand what I'm saying? My mother was straight up old school. She raised me traditionally with morals and values. We were a nation of Islam, and then we converted over to Christianity, Pentecostal. You understand what I'm saying? And my mother, she had some delays. However, she was able to function and take care of me and provide. And she taught me how to have social cues. And she taught me how to work and love God and be responsible and be ladylike and love people for who they was. My mother wasn't a judgmental person. I told y'all last show how she would just take people in and she would just feed people. And that's how it was. The neighbors looked after each other. If you got in trouble, the neighbor whooped you and then called your mama, said, hey, she did this, and then you got another whooping, stuff like that. But these parents and the dads too, they don't want to parent anymore. And I'm trying to figure out, why don't you just get on birth control? You understand what I'm saying? I have never seen such a poor quality of parenting in my life since I've been on this planet. You said nothing wrong with the Scorpio. I understand nothing. Yeah, like self-love. Trust me, if this thing don't work out right here, and I ain't trying to tell God how to run this show, but I'm probably gonna go ahead and retire from the dating scene. You understand? You understand? Hey, Joshua, said nothing but love your way, bro, because you deserve it. Y'all support the channel, like, share, subscribe. Okay, all of that is free. Okay, listen. When I saw this story, I immediately said, I have to talk about this. I have to cover this story because I could not wrap my mind around this. It's almost unbelievable. When I was talking to one of my friends about the story, I said, this is almost unbelievable because how does this happen? I'm going to play you guys some video of the conditions that these children had to live in, but I'm going to give you some background on the story before we play the video. I could not believe what I was seeing. And I'm just blown away. Where is your conscience? You in a birthday? What is there a mental delay? I don't know. Do you know Steve Wickles or John Taffer is is running for president in the White House? Really? Steve may win. Just like Trump said, common sense. Common sense. I am trying to wrap my mind around this story because it's almost unbelievable. And I said to myself, how does this happen? And there were and there were neighbors, and they allowed this, and they said, well, they were the type of neighbors that kept to themselves. I was raised where the community took care of each other. I was raised on the north end of Detroit, the killer area, the most high murderous percentage of Detroit. That's where I was raised at. And within all of that, we all knew who the killers were. We all knew who the drug dealers were. You understand what I'm saying? We were not threatened because we were in a community. You understand? So we took care of each other. We handled our own business in the street. We had a community leader, and when the drug people, when Ray Ray got into it with Tay Tay, they went down in her basement. They called it the basement, and they fought it out. And then everybody stopped shooting, and we had a barbecue, or a block party. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it was. But we all looked out for each other. Do you understand? A prostitute showed me how to do my nails. I ain't no joke, no lie. But even then, she was a good mother in her own little way. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Even then, she would not have allowed something like this. I could not believe it. So let's get into the story. Let's get into the joy. You said John. You said John Taffer is yelling at people on the bar rescue. I have to check that out, Josh. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. And this is Pontiac, Michigan. I'm like, what's wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong with our people? What's wrong with our people, Jesus? Okay, so Pontiac, you said they need to start giving people tests to see if they have the mind to to have children. You know what? I would even go further and say, and this is so gonna sound so weird because now the government is entering in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? But if I was a partner, you know, if I was meeting somebody, getting to know somebody, hey, do you have any mental delays? That should be added to the list. Do you have any STDs? Do you have any children? Do you have any mental delays? Do you like life? Are you on any substances? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because having these children with these weird genes going on, because y'all on that lean and y'all on that lace marijuana, you know what? The percentage of bipolar children is going through the roof. Schizophrenia, autism. I see it all day, every day in my classrooms. People need to get it together. They really need to get it together. Okay, so this story is coming out of Pontiac, Michigan. Shout out to Fox 2 News for covering this story. Fox 2 News Detroit. Oh my God. Hey Lionel, how you doing, Lionel? Thank you for coming in, honey. Thank you for coming in. And listen, I'm gonna drop the link in case anybody want to get into the story with me. I'm just starting the story, Lionel. I got some video footage to support it, but I'm getting ready to lay the foundation with this article. But I am gonna drop the link in case anybody wants to dive into as well. I am flabbergasted. When I say I'm flabbergasted, I am flabbergasted. This story took me. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I see I did this wrong. Okay, see. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I honestly could not believe it. I honestly could not believe it. Thank you for hitting that like button, button. It keeps me in the algorithm. For the last 2 weeks, I've been out of the algorithm, and I can tell. So y'all please share, like, and subscribe, okay? Okay, so the story is coming from Pontiac, Michigan. Oh, God. Y'all pray that I get through this story. I am so mad right now because slowly but surely society is letting our children down. They are letting our children down. Okay. The Oakland County prosecutor has filed 3 counts of child abuse charges against a Pontiac mom. That's right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Whew. Okay, let me focus. Pontiac mom abandoned 3 kids in a home full of trash and feces for over 4 years. Y'all help me, because I'm trying to stay calm. She abandoned her children. She walked away from her children and left them in a house for 4 years. I know y'all saying impossible. I know you saying impossible. But when you look at this video, you're gonna say, oh my God. The way the house looked yes, Brandy. Yes. For 4 years. Prosecutor Karen McDonald called a 2 p.m. press conference on Wednesday where she announced the charges against Kelly Bryant, the 34-year-old mother of 3 children. The case against the 34-year-old mother, who was not named prior to the press conference given to the prosecutor office on Monday for review. Oakland County Sheriff Mike Butchert spoke on Tuesday and said 3 kids lived alone since the late spring of early summer 2020, the height of COVID. You left your kids during a pandemic? What kind of bastard are you? You left your kids in the middle of a health emergency. This woman, she better have some type of mental illness. She better be gone on her mind. Because that would be the only explanation I could possibly see this. That would be the only explanation that I could possibly see some stupid stuff like this. Okay, so it says, well, we know that Bryant was charged with 3 felony accounts of first-degree child abuse. Each charge carries a maximum jail sentence of life in prison, and she needs to that her ashes need to be included in the dust of the prison grounds. 3 children in this case suffered unimaginable abuse and neglect over a long period of time. McDonald said on Wednesday the police were astonished to find anyone in that location because it appeared to be uninhabitable, with piles of garbage and refused several feet of high and trash several feet high, including large amount of, oh my God, including large amount of human excrement. And it breaks my heart that children had to live like that. That was their experience for 3 years, living like that. Do you understand when you keep a dirty house, women, men, when you keep a dirty house around children, that is trauma for them? It's trauma. It's trauma. When you keep a filthy, nasty house, there's you are unrest. Clean your house today and see how peaceful you sleep tonight. You telling your children that that's how you're supposed to live. It ain't even healthy. It's unsafe. I looked at the windows. It was black mold all around the windows and stuff. Law enforcement were called to the home to check on Bryant at the request of the homeowner. Somebody owned it. The homeowner. Who was the homeowner? Were you not getting rent? The homeowner. Instead, Bryant wasn't living there, and there were 3 kids there alone. So for 3 years, did you get a payment? I don't understand this. For 3 years, it took 3 years. It took you 3 years to do a wellness check. Were you not getting rent for 3? Was it a family member, the owner? I got so many questions. McDonald said Bryant lived at the home in 2019 and moved out in 2020. One of her children leaving with one of her children. Leaving the other 3 behind. How is that possible? How are you in a house with 4 kids and you taking one and leaving the rest? How is that possible? That let me know it's something mental going on in this story. How is that possible? The kids didn't go to school for 3 years. And here in Michigan, CPS is immediately called if you miss 2 weeks of school, unless it's a sickness or something. How did this happen? During this time, McDonald said the children all had cell phones but were instructed never to open the door or leave the home. During his interview, her son stated that he would text their mom when their food supply was running low. And she, oh God. When the food supply was running low, and she would have food delivered to the residents. Now, see, I could not even be, and let me tell y'all something about me. One thing about me is I don't like offenses against children, and I don't like offenses against women. We couldn't be in the same room. I would be going to jail too. And I don't even know these kids. I could not stand to be in the same room with this woman. Do you understand that? On site. Do you understand? You know your kids is in the house like that. It's cold as the dickens here. You understand what I'm saying? You know you got 3 kids, 3 underage kids in that house, and you sending food. You know exactly where your children is, and you ain't been there in 3 years. You leaving it at the door? No, you ain't leaving it. You just getting it delivered. You know where your kids is at. Oh my God. He said she would have the food delivered to the residents. You ain't never lied. Do you understand, Brandy? And I don't even know these people, but it would be on site. Do you understand what I'm saying? Y'all would have to raise money to get me out of jail because it would be on site. Because you a trifling piece of trash. You laying your head somewhere clean, but your kids is living like that, then you shouldn't have had no kids. God got something for her. You better believe that. And that's why she get in jail, right? I got to read that because I think she got arraigned. I thought I saw a mugshot. Okay, so the children shared during that year, they were concealed in the home. So the suspect, Brian, failed to provide. God help me, God, to get through this story. Help me get through this story. She got it coming if they put her in regular population. You better believe that. They're going to tear her behind up. Do you hear me? You hear me? Bertha going to tear her behind up. You hear me? Do you hear what I say? Okay. During the 3 years, they were concealed in the home. So suspect Brian failed to provide toilet paper, you raggedy piece of trash, soap, and shampoo, McDonald said. The defendant instructed the kids that they were not to answer the door or leave the house. All 3 children expressed fear about what their mother's response would be if they left the home. So she was threatening them. What kind of crazy person is this? They had nowhere. They had no tissue paper. No sanitary. Oh. Something is wrong. What is it? You know, the Bible speaks of how mothers are going to turn against their children during the time during the end days, and we're seeing that. What kind of crazy stuff is this? Where is something is wrong with it? She got to be mentally ill. What is it that you don't love your children? How are you able to go sit on the toilet and piss and wipe yourself, but you know your 3 kids ain't got nothing? So they all was scared of her, apparently. McDonald said the children are living with a relative. She lied. It says you don't mistreat the children, the dead, and the elderly. I believe that you better believe that, Brandy. People don't got a soul no more. They cold, they dark on the inside, and they evil, and the enemy is operating them. See, when you live without God, when you live without the indwelling of the Holy Ghost, when you live without the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, you are an open door, and the enemy walks right into your soul, and he begins to operate you, and you don't even know it. That's why you can't stop being evil. That's why you can't stop cussing people out. That's why you can't stop tearing your body up with nicotine and alcohol, because the enemy wants to destroy you because you don't got God living on the inside to block the enemy out. That's the problem. The enemy got a whole lot of people he operating, and they doing some very dark things in this world. Lionel said, too many social work cases that makes this common. Not exactly to this extreme, but you see more mothers abandoning their kids. You better believe it, Lionel. You better believe it. You are absolutely right. McDonald lied. She said the children were living with a relative while in the care of the Department of the Health and Human Services. So basically, she said CPS got the kids, but they living with a relative. She said the family is expressing a desire for privacy. Who said this? She did. She said the family is expressing a desire for privacy. She also said that the investigation has not found reason to charge anyone else. Oh, this is the prosecutor talking. Okay. Hey, Shawan, I'm sending love your way because you deserve it. Morally, there is plenty of responsibility to go around for how this was allowed to happen. Yes, for 3 freaking years. You got the homeowner who probably would never went to the house. You got a neighbor, the neighborhood. Y'all ain't never seen the kids come outside. Y'all knew it was kids there, but all of a sudden they ain't there no more. Y'all know y'all hear something rustling around in there. They wasn't totally quiet up in there. I know y'all done see some type of lights on in there. Ain't nobody knocking on the door. I know you smelling the house. Y'all ain't coming. Y'all ain't going in there. It's a whole lot of people. The mailman come every day, don't he? Just about. We gotta be. Sometimes we gotta. You gotta take care of your neighbor. Sometimes. I'll never forget when COVID first came. We all was in our house for 2 months straight. And I took a little bit longer to come out. And when I finally came out, my neighbor so happened to come out the door. He's a man. And he took the biggest sigh of relief. He said, I'm so glad to see your blankety blank. Because he know I'm in church. He said, I'm so glad to see your blankety blank. Because we were all in fear. And every now and then he checks up on me. Every now and then he makes sure I'm okay. We look after, I've been in here for 10 years. We look after for each other. You understand what I'm saying? Where was the community? Where was her family? This is just people in the modern day. This modern day is wicked, Lionel. However, these 3 kids were entrusted to the care of their mother, and the evidence suggests that she effectively abandoned them to a revolting pit of squalor, she said. This is the prosecutor talking. In nearly 5 years of living alone, Butcher said the now 15-year-old boy was the only one of the 3 children to leave the house, which he did twice. He only left the house twice. Within 3 years, within 5 years, he only left the. Oh my God, they got to be totally unoriented with the new world. Just totally not acclimated to how the world has changed. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That is literally crazy. I tell you, the story is almost unbelievable. Once he wanted to feel the grass, which by itself is harbor. Girl, he went outside just to feel the grass. He wanted to feel the grass. Oh my God. And once because he wanted to check the mail, Butcher said. The sheriff said the children's father was in jail around this time, that their mother abandoned them. Upon release, he was granted approval to visit the kids, but their mother never allowed him access. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm scratching. I got irritated. Butcher said gaps in the school enrollment allow the children to slip. Oh, help me, God. Everybody let these kids down. I just told y'all we got a law here. If the children don't come to school in 2 weeks, we're supposed to be calling to figure out where these kids is. And I kept saying, how did this go for 3 years and the school system didn't get involved? They let them down. It said gaps in the school enrollment allowed children to slip through the cracks, lightly exacerbated by the pandemic. For 3 years, somebody ain't doing a job. Right now, there's no specific duty. Thank you, Scorp. Y'all support the channel, okay? There is a need. I ain't on here begging, but we all need something from time to time support. Right now, there is no specific duty required that is triggered by certain actions, Butcher said. The school district, in this case, received requests of records from another school in Pontiac, but there was no verification that the children ever moved to that school. So then they should have been checking. Okay, so where are these kids? So where are the kids? So they're not in Pontiac. So are they in Wayne County? Are they in Macomb? Where are these kids? They don't just vanish. This is ridiculous. He said nobody knew that the children weren't in school. This thing. How did it happen? How? If I had a child, listen. Now let me tell you how it go. When you got a child, say they moved to another district, okay, and they in early childhood. Let me tell you what happens here in Michigan. Hey, sweet Rita, I send nothing but love your way. The teachers They sent a request of those child's records from the former teacher, and they could either come pick them up or we forward it to them. Why am I screaming? I'm so Urban. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. Because I done got upset. Urban. I'm sorry. I'm a passionate, emotional person, okay? I don't whisper. I roar, okay? I'm sorry. Turn your device down. I said number love your way, Urban, because you deserve it. Don't laugh at me. I got pissed off. I'm sorry. Thank you, Lionel. Everybody let these doggone children down. Oh my God, this thing is heartbreaking to me. He said nobody knew that the children were in the school. Butcher said they were working with the state lawmakers to get a bill to introduce and fix the gap. Well, you know what? It's too doggone late. Y'all working on something. And meanwhile, while y'all sitting up there working and making all of this money, $60,000, $70,000 a year, children is being left in the house abandoned for 3 years in their own feces. Don got pissed off. Maybe I should calm down. This is ridiculous. It's utterly in this day and time. There got to be something. There's got to be some accountability to make sure kids don't fall through the cracks in some way. He said. Now let me tell you something. The state of Michigan, when I tell you when they looking for some child support, they will hunt you down. They will set our black men or black women up to get that child support. And if they don't get it, they're gonna throw you to jail. They're gonna find out every time you start a new job. They're gonna find that money and they gonna get it, or they're gonna take you to jail. If you got a warrant, they're gonna find you. If you are a chicken, they got cameras at the light that will scan you. Even if the police don't stop you, those cameras stop you, and you get a slip in the mail, and you be like, dang, how did they even know I ran that light? Because they tracking you. But you can't track 3 kids for 3 years that ain't in the schools that went missing. You can't track them, but you can track everything else. You can track a single mama that's trying to make her way and maybe make a little bit too much, but they need food stamps. But you can track them and cut them down to $23 a month. But you can't track 3 children, but you can track down $23 worth of stamps. I'm gonna need you to get yourself together. And I know I'm telling the truth up in here. I know I'm telling the truth. You're gonna track a woman that's trying to make a living down for $23 worth of stamp, but you can't track down the 3 kids she abandoned. Hey, comedian, I said nothing. Michael Allen, I said nothing but love your way. This is a horrible story. It's a horrible story of how disassociated we are as a community. And everybody's saying, you know, it's me and mine. I get that. In this day and age, it's hard to open up your life, your door, your resources, your money to people, because people be running scams so bad. But these children didn't deserve this. Yes, Urban, yes. I put the link in the chat. Anybody want to, contribute? I'm just laying the foundation right now. I'm going to show y'all the videos. And she was getting resources for them kids that she abandoned. The 3 children were found living alone last Friday, surrounded by garbage and feces. The oldest, at 15 years old, lived with his 2 brothers. Lived with his 2 sisters, aged 13 and 12, and these girls have already changed over to womanhood. So you can imagine what happens every month with these young ladies, and it breaks my heart because that's not the experience that young women should have during that time. That can be traumatic. And it shapes you. It shapes who you are as a woman. It breaks my heart that the young girls had to go through that every Lord, and that's why I say on site they would have to lock me up if I was in that. Because we could go and see the case. You can sit in the courtroom for what I'm saying, and that would be an opportunity that I probably will not take because I would have been leaped over them doggone pews. Do you understand what I'm saying? They go, Stephanie would have to lock me up because this is ridiculous. The oldest, a 15-year-old boy, lived with his two sisters, aged 13 and 12. They survived. They survived off of food that was dropped off once a week by either the mother or a stranger. Oh, Michael's here. I'm sorry, baby. I done got wound up, Mike. I'm sorry. I done got wound up.
I just want to say this.
Scorpio.
I just want to say this because you just said something, and I know that experience because when I first came on my period, I was so glad my mother was there to help me through that because you're right. That is okay. I'll just play it go.
Thank you, Mike. That's a comedy relief that I needed right now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I heard that story. So sad. I even seen the house. So sad.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Everybody around them let them down. Let these kids down. Even the family let them down. You mean to tell me you let this woman lie to you for 3 years? Ain't nobody seen the kids. Not you even seen her with the kids because she lied and said that that they were living with a family member, but you at some point you still should be able to see your kids, even if they was. Where's the family member that she said had the kids? How come we ain't seen the kids with that family member? Nobody checked up. Nobody checked the story out. Mookie and the
What?
team, I said nothing but love your way. He said every man's supposed to take care of their kids. It doesn't. If he doesn't, he's not a man. What we have to understand is that no man leave out their kids, no matter what you're going through. So during this time, Mookie, he was locked up.
So what city was that in?
Pontiac.
Oh, I'm so tired of us Michigan folk.
I just
Is
said it, like, what's going on in
Lord.
Michigan? Urban.
Can I ask you this? What
Yeah.
did you think about the video of didn't they arrest the mother? Kids died. What did you think about her in the video of her partying?
I posted it on my community channel, and I basically said that people express their way differently. I know I got a cousin that every time she go through tragedy or every time she's went through trauma, she has a nervous laugh. I said this. I said people express themselves differently. I said I don't know what it is to be in her shoes right now. I said, but I do believe that it is in poor taste.
You know what? I say
Urban
this.
said y'all wanted it. Y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
I say this. I saw no tears come out of her eyes, none whatsoever. To go from one extreme to the other, it is what it is. I just think she made bad decisions, poor decisions.
Yeah.
And I think she needs to be held accountable for that. Stop saying everybody else failed you because she could have went to a jail cell, a precinct, and said, "I'm not leaving here. Arrest me and my
Went to the
children, whatever they."
hospital. I said she
You
could have
know
went
what
to
I'm
the
saying?
hospital.
Anywhere. So, and then for her to sit there and cry like that, no tears come out. What I don't understand. Then we have the other woman in Michigan. Remember, she killed her kids and she had one in the freezer.
She
The
had them in the
light skin,
freezer.
you
Yeah,
know,
that was. And
it,
I saw that case, and that thing shook me. That woman, her face was like steel.
you
It's
had the
something going on.
man
I
here.
said, if you were you here at the beginning of this the show? I said
No,
20
that
years down the line, 20 years down the line, maybe 50 years from now, they're gonna do a case study on the last couple of generations to see what happened to society. They are
what,
because
what happened to the
it's
parent?
something going on. What happened to the
You,
parenting? Because
the
something is
mother,
going
the
on.
mother connection. So, my mother, God rest her soul, there was a connection there that, she used to always say, "You mine, you my child." And you could see the pain in her when we were hurt. So to be able to hurt your child, even the lady that I went to the funeral here at Opie's funeral home too. This was some years ago, where
Mhm.
her daddy was a pastor and it was a guy at the church, and even though that man had got out of prison, and she married him, and he shot her and killed the two older children, and then put his two girls in the car and made them die of carbon monoxide.
I remember
I went
that.
to I went to the funeral, and to see all four of those caskets, and I just sat there and I said, I can only imagine, because the mama was sitting there. She had just got out of the hospital being shot. I didn't blame her, you know, because sometimes you just can't foresee things. But to see the pain in her, I know she's probably blaming herself. Why did I get with this man
Well,
to
it's a
take
lot
my
of back
children?
channeling and it's a lot of retrospectual
Yeah,
thinking. But this comes from a lot of people being isolated now in society. This comes from fear. This comes from I ain't finna get in their business. This comes from the breakdown of the neighborhood. This comes from the breakdown of cooperative economics, where hey, you got a sack of potatoes. I got some greens, child, some cornbread. You know what? I got a piece of meat. Okay, we gonna put our stuff together. That stuff has broken down how we treat each other.
but
Brandy
wait,
said
I'm gonna
they
tell you why that.
hold on,
I'm gonna
Mike.
tell you
Real
why.
quick. Brandy said their young mothers now, they have no guidance. You're right. They do everything under the sun, have sex with anyone without getting to know the person.
Now, what? Let me say this first. I'm gonna address this, but when you was talking about the potatoes, it brought up something. I'm gonna tell you how people are different. My cousin called me one day. She said, "Hey, they giving out 50-pound bags of potatoes down at the church
Mm-hmm.
for free." I said, "Okay." She said, "Don't tell nobody." I said, "Huh?" I said, "Wait,
Uh-huh.
this is what got me." I said, "Don't tell nobody." I said, "So can you get more than one?" She said, "No, you can only get one." I said, "Do they have a lot of them?" She was like, "Yeah." Us as black people, I said, if it was two white women that had just got into a brawl, a drag out fight in the middle of the street, and they went
Mm-hmm.
back to their houses, and the one white woman, Peggy, knew they gave away, she gonna call Becky and go, "Look, I know we
She
just got
gonna
into
call
another secret."
Becky. She
Look,
gonna
she
call
gonna say,
Swoop. They
No,
gonna find some
I'm
seeds
saying,
and grow some more.
but,
They gonna share.
I'm gonna say this. She gonna call Becky didn't just whoop her butt, but she gonna call Becky and be like, "Look, I know we're not speaking, but I know how much a little Tommy like potatoes. They're giving out potatoes down the street. They still gonna do that. We as black people, we don't want to see people get ahead. We don't want nobody to have what we have. I can come to your house and ask you how much is your living room set. You gonna say either you're gonna jack up the price or you're gonna say they ain't got no more because you don't want me to have that living room set. Even though I can't, the way I set my living room set may be totally different than yours. Why we don't want to see people do that is a shame, and mostly black folk do that. Now, I'm gonna be quiet. To address Brandy, 42, it has nothing to do with the age. My mother said this one day. I said the same thing. Mama said no. She said people been having children since they were. My mama had her first baby at 15. She got pregnant at 14. She said it has nothing to do with the age. She said it's these children, it's their mindsets.
I agree, Sweet Rita. Sweet Rita say every woman ain't got patience for children, but they got patience for sex. See, they need to you need to get
Yeah.
on birth control and control yourself. Sweet Rita also
Hey,
said that mental illness don't come with instructions or who's craziest. Squirt said every woman have babies, God give them a motherly instinct. Mook in a team said facts. Sweet Rita said that I read that. Brandy said not all women, not all women. She responded to Score. It's a sad commentary that you got a woman delivering food twice a week to her own children at a separate location, and then you ain't bringing no toilet paper, no shampoo. You know these are your kids. Something mentally has to be wrong with this woman, or you just possessed by the devil. Bottom line. Let me continue
wait,
on with the story. It says the three
didn't she,
children were found. Go ahead, Mike.
didn't they say she left for a man?
I haven't gotten that far in the
Okay,
story.
well that's
I don't know if that is. That's a sad commentary. It says the three children were found living alone last Friday, surrounded by garbage and feces. Okay. It says Butcher claimed on Tuesday that the stranger was from a food delivery service like DoorDash, and their mother's last drop off hygiene related items were in 2020. The last time she dropped off some sanitary pads and stuff and tissue paper was in 2020. Their mother dropped off some trash bags, gloves, and Febreze, and that was the last thing related to hygiene, he said. At one point, the children were sharing a loaf of bread as their only form of substance. Towards the end, the children were getting a loaf of bread that was getting dropped off, and that was to last for 3 or 4 days, like a third world country. Okay, big picture view after the news. The kid's story broke. The sheriff said the department was overwhelmed by support and community. They should have been had this, and said they did not need any more donations. Yes, they do. What you mean they don't need no more donations? If it was a white family, they would be still donating. Corporations would be coming in. They need somewhere else to stay. They need to be able to get acclimated and get re-educated. They need help. They need therapy to get through so they can make it to college. They're going to need help for the next 10 years. What you mean you don't need to get no more donations? That pissed me off. Orchard Added Department hopes to find law firm to set up a trust fund for the kids to pay for health and education bills. He shared photos of donations with filled rooms and tables, which he said was just a small amount of donations they received. We have one of the most generous communities. Nigga, shut up. What you mean generous community? This is the same community where 3 kids sat there in their feces for 3 years. See, it's always after the fact that we want to be community and we want to do and we want to say what we are. But what were you for those last 3 years? You was a mailman that put the mail on there and knew people was in there and you never knocked on the door. You was a homeowner that never came and checked on your property. You was a school district that never did a wellness check.
You a neighbor.
A more detailed appointment looking at their physical and mental health will be done in the near future. Why not immediately? But they told the media Tuesday all 3 were doing well. How? How are they doing well? How are they doing well? They ain't well. Having some tender love, having some supportive care, having been put in new clothes and some basic hygiene. The one detective said that the little girl was talking quiet, but talking quite a bit. So super excited, said Butcher. The mystery behind the mother's reason for abandoning her kids remains. Police plan to further investigate and have more questions for her, but said she was answering questions and her background did not indicate any mental illness. She just was a scumbag. She just was a trifling bastard. That's what she was.
I agree with Scorpio. She was paying the rent. She was paying the rent.
Obviously, for 3 years, nobody came to evict them. Was the mama keeping the rent paid? That's a good question. Thank you, Brandy. Eviction should have been set over for non-payment of rent. She obviously was paying the rent, but they said she had moved. She took 1 kid and left the other 3. Now, I want to show you the trifling condition that these children had to live in.
It wasn't even no furniture.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna show you the first when investigators and then were first in the house. I'll show you this.
That was sad, man, honestly. back, man, honestly.
Say it again, Mike. Say it one more time, Mike.
I said, imagine how many rats, mice probably went through there
Do you
with all that
understand?
stuff. That's sad.
Brandy 42 said they need to make her live, make her leave. She made them babies. Yeah. So this is the aftermath, the
No,
clinical.
no, what they need to do,
Where did they sleep? Sleep. You right. So this
what
is
they
the
need to,
video after the after. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
what they need to do is make her ass go there and live in that same stuff for 3 years and give
For
her a
3
loaf of
years.
bread and give her a loaf of bread.
Going through.
This is the
This is the house that she kept them kids at, y'all. And I gotta clean it. Oh, God.
Do y'all want to take the stove and the refrigerator out, or what?
That stove and that refrigerator need to come out.
No, I'm not saying that. Well, y'all can take it out, or y'all want us to take it out.
Where we gonna put it at once we take it out, sir?
Lay it right there, yeah.
Lay it right there?
Yeah. You know those scrappers?
Yeah, but I need somebody to walk me downstairs. You want to? Have you been down there yet?
No, I ain't been down. Come on. Okay.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Come on, y'all going.
Give me my mask. Where is the mask at?
She should get her ass kicked.
No, that's a shame. Hey, where is my mask?
This is it, y'all.
In here. I don't know. Something fell out.
We got a big crew with us today.
Check the back of the Where?
Excuse me. Let me slide down here. Look at it. They was all down here. What you say, Uncle, a little bit? Yeah, you don't touch nothing if you ain't got no gloves on. All right, let me go up here. Ooh, Lord. Yeah, so you got to take that washer and that dryer out, okay? I'm here.
okay. So Urban brought up a valid point, and so did Sweet Rita. She said those kids were old enough to walk out. What I'm thinking is they had some type of Stockholm something. Let me tell you what. So,
You know what I think?
so my brother was in solitary confinement with no TV. Y'all know what solitary confinement is. He was in solitary confinement for 10 years. No, nothing for 10 years in solitary confinement. And so much it did something to him mentally. He sued and he won. But he said the first time he saw a TV, he broke down and cried after 10 years. Because it's the everyday things that we're accustomed to. If those are taken away from you, and all you had was darkness and trash and trauma, and you living in their children, they don't have deductive reasoning like we do at the time. Something happens mentally.
You
understand?
know what? You know what? And you got to realize when you're conditioned, for 3 years, he was 12 years old. He was 12 years old. The oldest one. They've been there for 3 years. And we don't know what the mother trained him to do. Has she threatened them? Because we love our parents so much. If your mama said, God dang it, you do this and you do this and blah, 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 or they're going to take you away. then
It happened,
you
Michael.
love.
Hold on 1 second. It happened to me. My mother suffered mental illness. However, she can function. My mother went through rapes and trauma, so she had a breakdown. But my mother took good care of me. But I never forget walking. We were walking to church. I was a little girl. She said, "Do not tell anybody that I have that I'm mental." She said, "Don't tell nobody I talk to myself." She said, "Because they will take you away from me." And that fear in that moment gripped me, and I never told a soul. Because I didn't want them to take her from me. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I never told a soul. So that's why I can identify with that. They in the article, they said they feared their mother. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, that is exactly. And then you know how you love your parents so much they can beat you, they can do you so wrong, but you die for that love. You're buying for that love that you will overlook a lot of things, and you feel better to be with her and go through that than to be without your parent. And I have to say, my mama could have been whooping, beating me, and I loved her so much I wouldn't have said anything either. I would not have. And and that's just because of the love. Um, you just, that's all they knew was their mom, and they didn't.
It's
They
hard to
were
get a child to tell on their parent when a parent is abusing.
yes,
It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard. I'm gonna share this with you guys. So I was molested by a woman and a man. 2 separate incidents. It was so traumatic to me that I blocked it out of my memory until I was 10 years old. I want to say 10 or 11 years old. One day I was in my mother's living room and I was looking through some pictures and I saw a picture of me when I was 4. And I had on a white suit and a brown polka dot shirt. And that triggered all of the memories flooding back. So my stepdad molested me on picture day. Because I can remember wearing that outfit when the event occurred. I remember falling off the bed on the side of the bed. You understand? I remember I remember the event. And I didn't recall it into my memory until I was like 10 or 11. So I started crying and I told my mother, this is what happened. He touched me. And immediately I remember I shouldn't have said nothing because she started getting upset. She started getting erratic. And I thought she was going to have another breakdown. So I said, "Oh no, Ma, I think I might have just dreamed it. I think it was just a dream." And I never talked about it again because I was so trying to protect. I protected even as a child, I carried the weight of protecting my mother because I did not want them to take her away. So she never showed up to Christmas, to parent-teacher conferences. I was talented and performed in school. She never went to that because she didn't want to see people. She didn't want people to see who she was. Even though she was a pillar in the community, she gave to people. She took people in. She was a nice woman. She was in the church. But at times as she got older, it got too bad and she couldn't go out like she wanted to go out. You understand what I'm saying? So I carried that as a child, and as an adult, I did not say anything because that froze me. So there was a time when my abuser came back into my mother's life, and I went away this summer to my dad. And when I came back from the summer vacation, I walked in the house and he was there drunk. And here I am. I had to be about at least at around 12. Around 12. I knew exactly what had happened. He done beat my mother, and I knew to walk out backwards. The fear had gripped me because I saw this man. I had seen this man since I was a kid. I remember when my mother left him, I was a little child. She was holding me over her shoulder, and we were running out of the house. I remember that. Now I tried to get my teddy bear. I said, I need to go get Erica. I said, no, we leaving Erica. I remember those things vividly. You understand? So I understand these children trying to protect their mom. Even though they are in trauma, they trying to protect her. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, thank you. I'm over it, Brandy, but I gave it as a reference. Your mind did that to protect you. Yes. I literally forgot about this, and when I looked at that picture, it literally just started flooding back that this happened to me. So I know exactly what those kids is doing. They were surviving, and they was getting through the trauma. That's trauma. That house is trauma.
Wow. And so, who was the woman?
It was a friend of the family. It was a friend of the family, my god sister. And the thing about that, I never told my mother about that. You know why? As I got older, I knew that happened. I knew that happened to me, and she has done things to other children, to other people in the family too. At least she lied and said it. That's how she was. I was a kid. I was a little girl. She said, "You do this, so and so do it. You do it." I was a little girl. The reason why I never told my mother about it is because when I became a woman and I'm ministering in the faith, this woman, my abuser, turned into an alcoholic. She had cirrhosis of the liver, and she was, and her the things that she done in her past life had ate her up so bad. She was almost mental, and my mother was the only thing that could soothe her. And she would call my mother in a drunken stupor, and my mother would talk to her, and my mother would minister to her, and she would cry because my mother was a godmother. She would cry, and my mother would talk to her and see about her and sit with her when her mother died, my mother's best friend. And I know for some kind of weird way, y'all can talk about me and say what y'all, I know that woman needed my mother. And so when my mother passed, I went over there to her. And my abuser. And I went and embraced her, and I let her know I forgive you. And I had to tell her that my mother passed, and everybody, and I knew it was going to tear her up. But that's what I'm going to tell you. That's God. That's God. Can't nobody fix you, fix your insides, your trauma, your hurt like God can. That took God. And not only did this family injure me, but they also injured another family member in my family, and we did not know about it. Neither one of us knew that we were both being taken advantage of until after my mother died. I never knew it. So you talking about house of horrors? That was a house of horrors, and we never knew it. But God protected me, and he shielded me, and I was able to build a life for myself. These children are going to need help. They're going to need resources. That's why I got so upset when they say they don't need no more donations. These children are going to need therapy for a very long time. It's a sad commentary. Randy said forgiveness is the first step. Absolutely, I had to release her, and I felt sympathy for her. Because let me tell you something, the Bible says, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. I'm not happy that she's gone through her body and she is the way that she is, but she ain't in a good way. I'm going to tell you that right now. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, no, I was just, I didn't tell my mother either. And the reason I didn't tell, it happened to me from when I was 4 to 6. But I knew the caliber of woman my mother was. I knew her lifestyle. I knew, my mother had guns. My mother was street, and I knew that she would kill the man. And I said, at that age, my mom would go to prison. Mm-hmm. And I knew she would kill. I knew she would kill that person. And I was protecting her as well because I remember. The reason I knew this because my one sister, it was my mother's friend. He was watching us, and we were all asleep, and he woke my one sister up and kept asking her, "Come show me how to flush the toilet." And my older sister was like, "Wait a minute, why the hell?" We were young, but she was like, "This man know how to flush the toilet. Why would he call my sister in there?" And She called my mama, and my mama got there, and he had my sister on the floor in the bathroom, and they kicked the door and they beat him so bad. We never saw him again. And the police was there, and all I was maybe about 3 then, but I remember that so well. So when it
Wow.
happened to me, because they took my mama out the house and to question her and stuff, and so when it happened to me, I was so scared. I said, I'm not gonna tell her. I'm not gonna tell her. And I didn't tell her till I was 16, 17. And my mother was so mad. He was dead by that time. And I told her, I said, I was molested. We was watching this movie called Something About Amelia, where Ted Danson was molesting his stepdaughter or his daughter. And my mom was like, I wish a nigga would touch one of my daughters. And it kind of got me because I was like, you worrying about your daughters.
Yeah.
That's what triggered me. But I said, she said, by who? I said, Lawrence, the rage that was in her face. Why
My
do you tell?
God.
I would have killed that motherfucker. And I knew that. And at that point, then she almost got mad at me for not telling her. And but I said, see, this is why. Because my mother would have killed. Regardless of why she did it, she would have been justified in it, but it would have been after the fact, and she would have done prison time. And I did not want to be without my mother, and so for me, it was worth it.
Urban says, so I'm digging into this. He said the children's father was incarcerated but released. He petitioned to have custody over the children, but due to his record, it was visitation only. She refused visitation because she knew that is the condition that the children were living in, and this is solely on the mother. She lied to everyone about the conditions of the children. Yeah, absolutely, she did.
Well, listen. The story I watched the news. They said mother leaves children, chooses man over children because she had a man. She went to go be with the man and left the children behind.
And that's what I said. And this new generation, I don't know why mothers are choosing things over their children. The lifestyle they're choosing, the man, they're choosing drugs, they're choosing. I mean, even though this has been going on since the beginning of time, but it seemed to be so prevalent, like it's an easy choice. Like you don't have that maternal connection with your kids.
I said this on one of my lives. I said it's a difference. I said when we were younger, and a man wanted to date my mother, you had to get us some McDonald's. You had to pay for a babysitter. You had to give us a couple of dollars, and you better hope we like you. That was the only way my mother was even gonna go out with you. Nowadays, they will leave the children at home to go to Red Lobster and get a blunt and some.
And the man never even make it in the house because he don't think enough of her for all of that.
Exactly. Don't worry about that.
They settling. They are settling. I am flabbergasted. This story has flabbergasted, and this story is triggering for me. You know what I'm saying? I am just blown away.
How old was the lady? How old is the lady?
Oh, let me go back and look. I don't even know if they mentioned her age. I don't know why I'm thinking 34. I don't think she's 34, but so that just popped in my head. I don't know. Let me go back and look and see.
But you got a 15-year-old.
I can't let me see. She got a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, I'm sorry, and a 12-year-old. This phone. Guys, do y'all hear an echo?
No.
Not. 34. Police arrested children's 34-year-old woman. I mean mother. Yeah, 34.
They were black, I take it.
Somebody is blowing my phone up for whatever reason. I don't know.
Is that your husband?
No, because I mean he has, around about this time he has been calling me though, texting me. Yeah, I don't. I 34 years old. Oh my God, this is like I just don't understand the disconnect. I just don't understand not wanting to be a mother. I don't understand the urgency to take care of your kids. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, women took care of their family and their kids, and they would sit and be with their kids. They took their kids to the doctors. They took them all wherever they went. That's where them kids went. Wherever they had to go, that's where them kids go. Now you may sit there and talk to them like, "Oh my gosh, got all those bad kids," but they was hers and they was with her. They didn't drop their kids off somewhere, and you know what I'm saying? The kids went with them, or they didn't go. I'm
Exactly.
so I'm so baffled. And then how can you even sleep comfortably, peacefully, when you know your children is living like that? That's why I said she had to be mentally ill. But they said apparently there was no mental issues with her. But I'm like, y'all ain't
And
did
for
y'all
her,
take no test.
the part that's baffling to me,
Oh, he done accidentally knocked himself out. He done accidentally locked himself out. I'm so flabbergasted at this story and so heartbroken at this story. I'm so concerned with the children. They have to be uh uh they have to be in some type of state of shock and trauma. You know what I'm saying? In survival mode. Oh my God. And the girls, the little girls, that's what's really bothering me. The little girls going through life and going through changes in their body. And you gotta be like that in that situation. I'm so done. It's ridiculous. I am so, oh my God. So what
you
I'm
know,
going to do is see. I know they said they're not taking no donations, but I'm gonna dig around and see if anybody can, any moderators, anybody can dig around and see while I'm on here. Any 1-800 numbers or any GoFundmes or anything like that. Let's cut in place and put it in the chat. I'm probably gonna do it on my community wall or something. Something, because these kids gonna need it. They are going to need it, and they need to. I'm telling you right now. I feel like breaking the law just so I can be in the same prison with her.
I think they're going to need more mental help than anything. And what gets me is the fact that that motherly instinct was not there because you had strangers taking your baby something. That goes to show you
A loaf
that
of
she didn't
bread.
even care. She didn't even care about the conditions. She didn't care about nobody seeing her. And like you said, anybody that ever delivered anything there, the landlord, all of them were enablers for her to be able to do what she did and get away with that long. The landlady, the landowner, the landlord, all you cared about was your money. I guess as long as that money was sent to you. But for 3 years not to go check on your house to look at
I
it,
don't get that,
it
and
was.
Sweet Rita, something is up because if initially the story said she moved out, so if the owner thinking that you moved out,
Well,
how were
no,
you allowed? You never checked on your property
no,
for 3 years?
no. What happened was this: when they said she moved out, not her moving out the house, it was her going to be with the man. So I don't think,
But still,
that.
it's like yearly things that owners have to do, like check the grounds, and they have to do an inspection. And you never showed up for that. Hey, Urban, I said nothing but love your way because you deserve it. Welcome to the show.
Salute.
Did you never checked on nothing in the property?
But wait, but see, it might have been easy because you have some landlord, they was getting over. I ain't got to go fix nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be bothered. All I have to do is collect this money, and the money took precedence over checking on that property. I believe. It was in Pontiac. Shout out to Pontiac. I've never hung out there. I've been through. We rode through Pontiac. I think I did a show in Pontiac one time, but to ever just know, I don't know that culture in Pontiac, even though they're not that far from us.
Mhm.
I think is Pontiac farther than Flint? I believe it is.
Pontiac is farther than Flint. Yes.
Yeah, so
Urban,
I don't know,
what's your
and I really
prediction?
thought it was majority white people in Pontiac.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Oh, hey, Urban.
Mike, so with a
Yeah, so I'm just tripping on these people in Michigan lately.
oh, can y'all hear me? My bad.
I can hear
Yeah,
you. I'm speechless, Urban. This is one thing that took my voice away. Go ahead, Urban. Add your opinion. I am speechless. Go ahead.
Yeah, salute, y'all, salute.
Salute.
So this situation is what I be talking about on my channel all the time. When you be talking about relationships, right? One of the key things I talk about is in the very beginning that you have to want to vet out people for real to want to make sure that that person is, you know, compatible with you, and also make sure that that person is suitable to even be in a relationship. So this woman ended up getting with a man, end up having children with this said man, right? Knowing good and
Mhm.
well that she's in this relationship and she's not happy in the relationship. She's not happy how the way her life has become in this relationship. So she decided to do something about it. She decided that the only logical decision is to start over again, which is to abandon everything that she know of, right, and go and live a different life. But the one thing about it is that it was just a poor choice and decision. You know what I'm saying? A normal woman would, that a normal woman would go ahead and take her responsibility, which is her children, go ahead and allow her children to be in this new life. But for some reason, it was a disconnect there. Maybe it was because of the new dude. The new dude that she was with didn't want her to have children and said that, hey, you gotta either choose me or these kids. And so she chose the new life. And I have heard cases like that where women will literally do that. They'll literally abandon their children like that. They'll even leave them with their grandmother, or
Mhm.
if the one child father is still living, they'll give them to their child father and abandon them and go live this new life. But
Wow.
you
but
know what it
either or,
reminds me of?
it's a horrible story because what I'm saying, we're looking at these children. Um, for all these years, the children been living in this situation where they haven't been properly educated, that they haven't been to school, they rarely went outside. And I believe the oldest was the one boy, right? And the youngest was two girls. And so
Mhm.
the oldest, he really don't even know how to be a parent, you know what I'm saying? So he just doing his best. So it's a lot that's into the story that's real messed up. But um to be honest with y'all, these stories are pretty common, and the reason why I say this because my wife, Mrs. Urban, she worked with Child and Protective Services, so she be hearing stories like this and working cases that are similar to this all the time, or even worse cases. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
That's
mm.
even more way messed up than this one.
Wow.
Let me say this.
Wow.
Let me say this. You know what this reminds me of? This is nothing but a modern day Flowers in the Attic. Y'all remember that movie? This is a modern
Uh,
day Flowers in the Attic, where the woman, her parents had disowned her. They were rich,
mhm.
and she married her first cousin and had kids, and so they disowned her, and the husband died, and the only way that her family would accept her back was for her to, when she got to there with the kids, the grandmama and them couldn't stand the kids. They put them up in the attic, and it
Mhm.
was it was twins and a brother and sister, and the lady was living this lavish life. She said, "No, y'all just gotta wait. Just wait till I get married, and we're gonna have money again." And the grandmother was, I mean, she was giving them poison in their donuts and
Mm.
to kill the kid. She chose that lavish lifestyle over the kids. She just owned her former life because she wanted a better life, and that better life
So,
did not include them.
and so you see women choosing validation, self gratification over that maternal instinct to take care of their children. That was the most important thing in her life. That is a sad commentary. Lionel said, "Here's the thing. I follow eviction cases. owners be going 6 months and etc. without checking on their property. I believe that. It says you Sweet Rita said yes, you do have to check on your property. Lionel said meaning they haven't had rent in over 8 months. So I see tons of cases where owners do not check on their property. Sweet Rita says, I'm sure that the property did not go unchecked for 3 years. Did not go unchecked for 3 years. I know he had to have been out there. And Scorpio said, I bet it was Section 8. Sweet Rita said, if nothing else, landlords have to make sure that the property isn't vandalized or gutted out. Lionel then said, all I am saying is that I've seen cases of serious time frames where property didn't go unchecked, not getting rent for a good amount of time. It does happen.
Yeah. So Queen, you mentioned about the maternal instinct, right? I will say this. I'll say that her maternal instincts did activate with her, and the conclusion of her matter was that them kids were a mistake to her. And so she felt like that the best course of action was to go ahead and abandon them kids, even though we don't agree with that. But that's what she decided to do, is to abandon them kids and to start a new life and to start over again.
Ah, this is so sad. A loaf of bread twice a week. Like, oh my God. Brandy said 42 Lounge. Brandy 42 Lounge said Susan Smith killed her kids for a man. And then Lionel said, Urban, I told Queen earlier that this was common. You're late. Brandy said Stephen King wrote a book. That's one of my favorite movies. I guess she was saying, Mike, that was one of her favorite movies that Stephen King was
Flowers in the Attic. I'm telling you, that movie was so deep, and it sees the disconnect a mother can have for her children. I see my mother struggle. I've seen her always put us first. I've seen her cry, but I've never seen her ever say, you know what? I don't want these children. You know, if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be going through this. You know, she had us all young, and she chose to deal with her actions. You know, she had to deal with those actions. And it makes me wonder, because see, where my mother fell short, my grandmother and other family members stepped in. So where was her family?
That's how it was back in the day. That's how it was. You know, the grandmama, okay, I'm gonna take the baby. I'll take one baby, the uncle or somebody took the other baby. They kept them in the family. You know, I just where was the family? You know, and then even this Urban, I feel like she chose to go and nurture and be there for that man and not for her kids. Like I it's something void in her. It's something. There's a disconnect somewhere. Like I just
she has ice in her veins. She's selfish. Let's stop trying to put a name on it. She's selfish. She got ice in her vein. She ran away from something. You know, you did it, deal with it. And she needs to pay for that. And I'm so glad that she is, because you look, when you had them other kids, so when you got with this new man and you had children by him,
she took one kid with her and left with 3.
So there's, you know, not only is there a disconnect, but there's selfishness. You know what I mean? If they're saying that, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But if they're saying, look, there's no history of mental illness, what you did was you chose yourself over your children that did not ask to be brought here. There's no way around it. You were a real bitch. Selfish. For you to go to even take, I don't even trust her with the child she took. What happened when she gets tired of her or him? It's just, I mean, it's sick.
In the conditions, like you ain't never walked in there. You know, you got 2 girls. You know something's about to happen to them when they get close to 9. You ain't even went and called and checked on them. Like I
What if somebody had broken the house and raped them or killed them? That's the stuff I'm talking about.
Go ahead, Urban.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, another thing we got to understand is that women are hypergamous in nature, meaning that they do look for men to do the main things, which is provide and protect. Now, imagine you being a single mother and you don't have that resources, which is a dude, providing for you and protecting you and your household, and then on top of that, the dude that you chose to procreate with, right? He's incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? And then finally decided to get out of jail to, well, wherever he was trying to do to either live his life better. I have no idea because they didn't go deep into that. But imagine that. Imagine procreated with this deadbeat dude and stuff, right? 3 different times, right? And then you have the expectation for this dude to take care of you. He didn't do that. And so she had to want to take care of this responsibility. So she's feeling messed up, feeling mad, feeling guilty of what's happening in her lifestyle. And to top it off, I'm saying, the conditions where she was living at, it wasn't the best, I'm saying, in the area where she was at. So like I said, she just decided one day that she just had enough and she wanted to do something different. And
that was a lady.
She listened to this other dude, right? Which that's even messed up for the other dude to not allow her to bring them kids with her. You know what I'm saying? Which there are dudes out there that do that. There are dudes out there.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about on my channel. There are dudes out there they'll make that ultimatum to women, say that, hey, I don't want to be no sucker some dude, and I'm not gonna be take care of kids that belong to another dude. So you gonna have to figure this out because it ain't happening. And so she made that decision, like, well, most I'm gonna do with y'all is I just FaceTime y'all every now and then, and that was it.
So what happens if he don't turn out to be the man she wants? Does she abandon his kids too and go on? My thing is this: women do look for validation from men. I don't know. I grew up around a different caliber of women that were strong, and I don't. You know what? We gonna make this happen. If you cannot accept my kid, you can't accept me. Just flat out.
That was the rule. That was the rule.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this. I'm gonna tell y'all one quick little story. My mother had a boyfriend, and he moved in the house, and it wasn't his job to chastise any of us. That was her job. But my baby sister had forgot her keys over my cousin's house, and this man was getting on her about leaving her keys. And I was like, hold up, wait a minute. You don't check her about her keys. That's my mama. And so him and I got into it so tough. And me and my sister about to whoop him. And my mother come running out the bathroom. She's like, what's going on? And he said, his name was James. He said, I'm tired. Your son is not going to disrespect me. And I'll never forget my mother saying it. She said, look, I get that. She said, but Michael has to deal with you because I have you here. But you don't have to deal with Michael. And he left, and she, she put him out because it wasn't even a debate about that. Yeah. It wasn't a choice. She was letting him know, I'm always going to choose my son or my children. And it wasn't a disrespect. I didn't disrespect you until you disrespected my sister, but you have a lot of women be like, you ain't gonna mess this up here for me. He paying bills, and I need this money.
Look at the children. That's how they look at the children. You're not gonna mess this up
for me.
That's the weirdest thing to me.
It was one movie where the lady said, every time I find a good man, you find some way to mess this up. Talking to the child.
That don't make no sense. Lionel said, what is back in the day? Because I lived a similar situation in the 80s. This was happening back then. You're absolutely right. When I say back in the day, Lionel, this may be a little bit before your time. Okay. Scorpio is agreeing. Brandy 42 said, if that man can't love your children, then he don't love you. Your children are a part of you. You guys are
come on, somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I always suggest on my channel is this. I always suggest that if you already have children, right, and you enter into a blended family situation, that it's important that you find someone who has similar values and similar interests. Meaning that if you're a single mother, you got children, it's better for you to find a single father who have children as well too. It's never good for you to find either a woman who's childless or a dude that's childish for these situations, because what's going to happen is that they're going to want to have their own children for themselves, and they know that even though they can be this simp dude or this simp woman, right, at the end of the day they want to have their own children. They know they don't have the authority to be the authoritarian to discipline the children, just like with Mike's situation. You know what I'm saying? So they know that, so they don't want that. But then again, there are people out there, both men and women. They have this mindset thinking that they could be with any type of one, man or woman, given in their situation that they got, which that's not true at all.
Now I'm a stepmom, and our situation is unique because we're he's over here, on the other side of the world. But as much as possible, he allows me to integrate, in the family. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an older woman, and I am I use tact and wisdom. You know what I'm saying? I ain't coming in trying to take over no situation. I'm not saying I'm his mama too. That's ridiculous. So I take my social cues and I move appropriately. And I'm always respectful of the mom, and I'm letting her know we are a team. I want the best for your son. You know what I'm saying? I know when to fall back. I let them do their thing and handle. That's their child. You know what I'm saying? He hates when I say that, but you got to use some knack and some tenacity about that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm an older woman. I'm not running around here no baby mama, no side chick. That's not my arena. So I got a little bit of common sense. Brandy said, if that man can't love you, he don't love. If he can't love your children, he don't love you. Lionel said the only problem is that the children might not have loyalty to your children. The only problem is that them children might not have loyalty to your children. And then Lionel says, but I agree, don't be getting with these single parents.
Now, let me say this. Me, but we have to know what it is that we want and what it is we want to accept. I choose to talk to people that don't have children. And I'll say why. Because I know how I love to love. I know attention that I love. And you know what it is. And so for me to eliminate any of that, oh, my child come first, or I got to do this, I just, preferably. Now, if it happened that I fell in love with somebody with a child, I would love that child just as much.
Mm-hmm.
But to eliminate that, if I had the choice, I would tend to get with somebody that does not have children.
Now, see,
so
I'm
that wouldn't be an issue.
I'm around children all day long. And I get that, Michael. That's very smart. You already know what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. You making a conscious decision. What you got going on here is a lot of it's a generational thing. People hooking up and sleeping with each other because they fine. They done met them in the club. You know what I'm saying? And they making all these quick decisions, and you ain't even asked if the person even got kids. And they probably got 10 kids somewhere, and now you caught up in this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you making all of these careless decisions. Whereas, and I ain't trying to be funny, but our generation, we gonna sit down and have a conversation with you first. Do you have children? What are your interests? It may sound lame, but you gather a lot of information to decide if you want to go on a second date with this person. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like people making these life-altering decisions based off of one night in the club.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's happening as well? What's happening as well is they're laying down and, screwing so fast. Now your mind is clogged because you get what I'm saying? The sex is good. So now you starting to accept some stuff you normally wouldn't say. So that's one thing. You meet somebody in the club, y'all end up having sex. Most people, some people have sex on the first night. Now you done fell in love. your mind is cloudy. Like, I know this heifer got 8 kids, but that's some good coochie. You know what I mean? That's the mindset. So I think, it was a time where you didn't even the women didn't even bring the men around the kids for a certain length of time before we even knew. They could be in a relationship and you still. But these women now are bringing these men and moving them up in this house so quickly because the lack of companionship. Everybody puts
They lonely,
this thing.
Michael. They
Yeah, but
desperate.
no,
They want
it's
a
like,
man in the house.
but it's like if a woman don't have anything, she don't feel complete, or some men.
My thing is this: why can't you feel complete? And I agree with you saying, Michael. But as a woman, why can't you feel complete all by yourself? You know what I'm saying? Why do somebody got to come in your house and live in your house and screw you down for you to feel validated? There comes a time when you got to validate your own self, your accomplishments in life. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing to occupy your time, your mind? You know what I'm saying? Go get an education, go get in school, go get a hobby. Some women, a lot of women, and Urban probably gonna be shocked for me to say this, but they searching and looking for one thing, and that's a man. When there's so much things that life can offer you to bring you gratification. When I was single, I'm newly married, but you best believe my life was full. I was full. I wasn't running. I stumbled up on my husband. You know what I'm saying? I went out here searching for him. I never had to search for a man. You know what I'm saying? Because it just baffles me. And then so what you do is you lower your standards, you lower your tolerance. He got a bad temper, but he do the laundry. Like, I'm gonna need you to get out of here with that. And then he wants you to kick your kids out of the house that you paid for that he moved in. It's ridiculous to me. Like I said, he tired of kids. Lana said that his grandma and great aunt said that they was fast back in the day too. Okay.
Hey, let me tell y'all a story that happened to me, and I want to get y'all opinion on this. All right. So after when I got divorced the first time around, you know what I'm saying, I was back out there again. Finally decided to get back out there again, but my intentions wasn't the date. You know what I'm saying? My intentions was literally just to have a good time. That was my mindset. So I know meeting a girl in the club, right? I met her, had drinks or whatever stuff, right? And I like, damn, she's fine. So went up there, hollered at her, got her number, and that was it. That's how the night ended. It wasn't no, one night standing, anything like that. But the next day, I had called her, right? And I called her, and I started getting to know her a little bit more. And so she was single with no kids or anything like that, but I had children, and so I had told her right there at that moment, I like, hey, look, I am a single father with children. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for a woman who don't have children. And there's a reason behind it. You know what I'm saying? I like, but hey, I'm cool with hollering at you, or however way you want this to go, it's cool. But I'm not gonna be in a relationship with you or anything like that. She said, cool. A couple of nights or so later, went up on going out, went up on sleeping with each other, right? Next thing you know, this same woman, she started catching feelings and stuff, like, yeah, you're blah, blah, blah. I want to meet your children. I'm like, shit, hell no, you ain't meet my kids, because I told you. I really don't want a relationship with you like that. So, question, in that situation, even though that we both had that conversation and we had that communication and we still having sex with each other, right? What would y'all think would be the recommendation? Do you think that was wrong with her, or she was wrong, or what?
I'm gonna tell you something. Women are very rational and very logical when we sit down and meeting with you and talking to you, because we laying the groundwork. We're gonna agree with everything you say. Oh yeah, that sounds good. That's about right. Yeah. But once we sleep with you, it becomes all emotional, because we are emotional creatures. You understand what I'm saying? All that rationale, all of that modern thinking and modern relationship and all of that. Okay, this is just a situation. It's cute. That goes out the window because we have been physical with you now. So So in our mind, we're thinking I'm telling you, in our mind, we're thinking there's a possibility for something to grow into something else. So all of that goes out the window now. That's for some women, not all. But that's exactly what happens. Our emotions get attached to that physical act.
I'm gonna say this. That's women of a certain age. These young women out here now are doing exactly that to the men. The men are catching feelings. Look, I don't want you. Yeah, I put this WAP on you, but it ain't that serious. Women are, these younger generations are not emotionally attached. Not all of them. You have more out here now treating men the way men used to treat women. So you have, now I agree with you when it comes to certain age, certain women, but for the most part, these younger women out here, they ain't having that. They you whipped, I got you whipped.
Something happened with this last generation, the two generations away. Something has happened in the culture and society. It is what we are viewing. It is what we are reading. It is what we have been exposed to that has changed the thinking of these last two generations of an individual. It's the development of technology and social media. All of that has a play to the dynamic of this new way of having relationships and how we treat one another. And it is astonishing to me. It really is. Brandy said, I agree with you. Yeah, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna talk to you, be like, yeah, you know, and I just yeah. But as soon as we have sex, I go into we trying to build a life together. I'm telling you, you understand what I'm saying?
And that's exactly how the way that's exactly how the way it was too. She, after when we had sex, you know, the sex was, you know, I ain't gonna lie, the sex was the average as best to me. But
you something else. You is something else, Urban.
I'm being real about it. It was average as best to me, but for her, it was phenomenal. It was a great experience to her. And she started getting married and having kids and meeting my kids. Like, hell no. I know my pipe is good, but damn.
Let me ask you this, Urban. Say that the same scenario, that she just blew your mind and turned you out. Do you think that you could have then said, you know what, this was so good that it's a possibility we could have had a relationship? Because see, I'm kind of wondering, by just being mediocre and being all right, it was easy for you to say, you know what, it was what it was. But it had been mind blowing. You might have been like, look, you might have been saying, you might have pulled up with your kids in the car about, y'all meet your stepmama.
Man, hey, how say Mike Holloway, my mama said this, man. Even though the sex would be good and phenomenal, there would never be a time where one would literally be having me whipped like that. She got to be already my wife, right? You know what I'm saying, to do that. But just to meet a random chick and we just have sex, nah, I ain't that type of some dude at all, man. Because keep in mind, back in that time, I just got out of divorce and I just so happened to start that dating. This was like I was divorced for like 4 years after that. And so right then, that's when I finally decided to get back and start dating, you know, sleep around, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So my mindset was already made up. I don't care what this type of woman is, I don't care if it's good or not. This is what it's going to be, period. You know what I'm saying? So that is my particular mindset on that. I get what you're saying. I get, because there's dudes out there that will do that. They'll get whipped. They'll literally will. They're like, hey, come I get you.
And you can tell. But look, you can tell because it's a look. I remember one time, me and a friend talking about, we just gonna be friends. And when we had sex, the look out that eye, I thought it messed up. It'd be that little gleam in the eye. They talking about what you doing in two, you know, they making plans. Like, no, that's not what we agreed on. Look, you making plans for next week. I ain't gonna see you for another month, maybe. So, you know, you have a lot of people that are led by their sexual, some people equate that with love, sex, and
I'm
sex.
telling y'all that women are different. We're more emotional. When we have our sexual experience with you is totally different than what you all are doing. Y'all can both be having sex with each other, but we're experiencing something different. You know what I'm saying? The way y'all touch us, the way you stroke us, the way y'all doing us, all of that is sending signals to us that you love us. Look how he's touching me. Look how he's doing this. He must really love me. Look how he's doing this to me. I'm spilling the tea. I'm telling you what I know.
So
You understand? So whereas men are having sex for gratification, you understand? And now it could be love making once the relationship develops, or y'all in a marriage. It could be. I love. One time, I ain't gonna lie, I was walking out of my sleep, and it was amazing. He said, "I just wanted to show you how much I love you, my husband, my husband." Okay, but so that's something different. But I'm saying, when you have a sexual experience like that, women are experiencing something different, and men are too. We're experiencing, this man loves me. Look how he's touching me, caressing me, and kissing me. And y'all experiencing, I'm trying to get off. You understand what I'm saying?
say, hold on. So
Yeah.
we in the damn if you do, down if you don't situation, right? Now,
Absolutely.
if we don't give y'all good pipe, guess what? Oh, he was trash as best. He was a minute man and all that stuff there. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, messing with our pride and ego behind that. But if we give you phenomenal pipe, right? And we tell you that no, we don't want all that.
And I'm mad you trying to marry us. Lionel said, Urban, this don't count as a video for today, bro. Oh, Lionel said, Urban, this don't count as a video for today, bro.
Damn.
And then Sweet Rita said, you have to go to his Patreon, Lionel.
Yeah, they advertise on Patreon.
So you having sex with her. He must really be in love with me. He must really be in love with me.
Mike, drop down and come back up. Drop down.
I came in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's so, and I was talking to a friend about this. I ain't gonna hold y'all long. We almost done. And he's the type of person, he will, he has female friends, like truly platonic female friends. Like he's one of a kind. He is an oddity. Because I've never met a man like this before. And don't beat me up. He will sit, he's like a guru, like a life coach. And and women will call, he will talk to him. People, have suicidal issues. He talked to them and whatever. But these women, I told him, I said, let me tell you something from a woman's perspective. When you sitting out there talking to me for a whole hour, listening to me, concerned about me, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, he cares enough for me to talk to me. There has to be something there. And he will not listen to me. And he does it all the time. And he has had issues where he's had situations where women he was talking to and trying to mentor to has literally been in there. He has walked in his house, and she's been in their living room with lingerie on, talking about he's the one. You understand? Because she don't misinterpret him saying about her as, you feel something about me. It's something about you. You so special. And so women, our receptors are different. We're looking for signals from you all that y'all want to spend time with us, that y'all like us, that you love us, that you want to be with us. Sex does not equate that I want to be with you all. You all, and some of you all, view sex as gratification, procreation, you know what I'm saying, or just chemistry. We're not looking at it like that. So you have to be careful. If you smile at me too long, I'm thinking, do he like me or something? You understand what I'm saying?
I can relate to you on that, because like even in this social media space, it be like that where I'd be nice and cordial, the next thing you know, people will be like, oh, hey, I like, no, Mary, but I understand that, but like men, we see things different for how the way women see things. So I agree with you on that, especially when they're dealing with sex. We see it as a form of connection. The main part of it is, get our rocks off. So We could procreate it. It is what it is with us, but it's more to a woman though, you know.
And
But
so we own this conversation because this is what drove that woman over to that man's house to abandon her children.
mm-hmm.
She was pursuing something that she thought was going to have some longevity, and it meant more to her than her being there in that space with her children for whatever reason. She pursued that, and that's a sad commentary on how desperate women can be for affection and love. Even though all those things are good, but you don't be desperate for it, that you're willing to put things that are the most important to you, that should be the most important to you. You don't put that over that. And that's exactly what this woman has done. But she getting ready to pay for it. You understand what I'm saying? So I just, this story is just, it's heartbreaking on so many levels. So many levels. So everybody, you know, just, I want y'all to keep the children in your prayers. And hopefully, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what? You know, another thing too, Queen, what's ultimately going to happen is that these children are more likely going to be part of the foster care system. Because I really haven't seen none of the other parents, well, you know, like the grandmother and all that. I really haven't heard anything about them really trying to step up and get custody over these children. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's an issue in itself, where even the community is not banding together to help these children. Now, I know you saying earlier that, you know, you want to see if they have a whatchamacallit, right? You know, so you could donate. But thing about it is that even in that situation, the children already got resources helping them. First of all, they got the resource with the state, right? Then they should have resources with their immediate community, which is their family as well too. You know what I'm saying? But if that's not happening, if the family is not stepping up, then that's why I'm saying they're going to go into the foster care system. That foster care system is horrible, man. And that's what troubles me more about this situation. Even did what the mom did to him. That's because that system is very bad.
And they
you know what I mean?
Go back into some more trauma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're capable of surviving the system, because we have people out there right now who are living witness that they survived the foster care system, and they phenomenal. They lived a great life.
God is so much bigger than the situation, and God can most definitely turn this thing around, and God can put some people in their life that's going to protect them, you know, because He's able to do any and everything, you know. So that's my prayer for them.
Mm-hmm.
Brandy said the grandfather was talking about how they tried to see them over the years. Mother told them no. Yeah, because she was protecting what she was doing. Yeah. She was covering it up. That's so sad to me. That is so sad. But you know, this year, will Cat Williams say this is the year of accountability. And I feel like
Cat Williams didn't say that. I said that.
Yeah, you said it, but Cat Williams also said it too. Okay.
No, he did not. He did not say it was your accountability.
So good. We was doing so good. Don't mess this up, Urban.
No, you ain't supposed to give Cat Williams my credit. Hell no. F Cat Williams. Cat Williams said what the hell he said last year? It was a year ago. He said that. He said it's a year of exposure or something like that, or however he put it. That's what he said. I'm the one who says your accountability. You better give me my credit, woman.
Okay, all right. Urban said this is the year of accountability. Queen said this is the year to come up. I feel like God is pulling covers, and He is making all of the wrongs right this year. He is, because this is crazy. I'm like, we just got over the frozen sibling story, which that's an update. If y'all go on my community wall, you will see the mother was grinding and partying. All of these people around her family, they all having a house party where she is twerking on one of her family members, hair done, clothes done, nails clean. You know what I'm saying? She got a silk press in her head, and she throwing it back. And I said, maybe this is how she's dealing with it, but it most definitely was in poor taste. But all of these people around her, I'm like, where was these people at when she was freezing in the car with her mama and her children? I didn't get that, but that video is on my I believe it's on my community wall. It's most definitely on my shorts, I think, of my videos. Okay, All right, guys. This was a heavy story. I know it was. It was a heavy story. Thank you so much, Irvin, for joining the panel. Thank you,
No
CMA, for
problem.
joining the show. I appreciate that. This just is the mirror of what we're dealing with in society now. I hope that you all enjoy the stories that I'm trying to bring to you all. I'm trying to be more intriguing. I'm trying to give you more quality content. Please support the channel. Like, share, subscribe. $CLAYLING. Thursday, I will be 49 years old. I know I don't look like it. I know you ain't got to tell me. I know. But God has been good. God has been good to me. And I thank God for all of these 49 years. If you don't do
Happy
anything
birthday,
else,
my fellow Pisces.
thank you, Pisces. Thank you so much. Listen, this is the order of the queen. Go do something nice for somebody. Say a little prayer for that family that we just covered. If it ain't nothing but, pick up some trash or help an old lady across the street. Do something nice, because guess what? You reap what you sow. This is your Queen Clayleen saying be great. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.